Tyson's dad, John Fury, he was on the White and Jordan show yesterday, and he had this to say about Tyson's future.
He's got to go for Usyk or nothing, in my idea. It's Usyk next or nothing. Would Dillian White deal with Deontay Wilder? No. So why would you want to put him in with my son and get him knocked out? He wouldn't be able to raise his game for that fight because it's not big enough. And he goes in there with a lacklustre attitude. You don't see the best of Tyson. For me, I've told him, Usyk or don't bother.
Okay, so let's get a bit more on Tyson Fury's future, where he might go next. We are joined by his promoter, Mr. Frank Warren. Hello, Frank.
Frank, how are you?
Good morning. I'm a bit knackered, but I'm okay.
I bet you are. Hey, first question, really, actually. Were you out partying with him, Frank?
No, I'm too old for that.
Oh, no.
After that fight, they tucked me up in bed, Coco, and they all went out and enjoyed themselves.
Frank, if you think I'm buying that, mate, you're up the wrong tree, I'll tell you right now. I've got to say, Frank, I sat on the couch, I was saying to Woodsy, I sat on the couch at 5 a.m. Sunday morning, and you've already come out and said, along with a few others, it's the best heavyweight fight you've ever seen live. I couldn't agree more. It was up and down, the third round, the fourth round. The fight just about had everything from two absolute gladiators.
It's right, and it does take two to make a great fight. And, you've got to take your hat to Deontay Wilder. I mean, he went above and beyond in his performance. He done extremely well. But the ring craft, the physical power, and the will to win of Tyson got him through. And he is, for me, he said it himself, and I don't think he means it. It's not a bragging way, but he is without a doubt the best heavyweight of his generation, and he's beaten the two best heavyweights who were around. He beat Klitschko, who's the best of his generation. He'd done it in the other guy's backyard in Germany. Took him to school, won there. Took nearly 3 years out of the ring. Came back, couple of warm-up fights, lost nearly 11 stone, and did the same thing with Deontay Wilder in his backyard, not once but on 3 occasions now.
You just heard there Tyson's dad, John, saying that he wants Usyk for his next fight. But we've seen actually the mandatories also Wallin or Dillian White. What is next? What do you think?
Well, look, Usyk at the moment has it's no secret, he's got a rematch clause with AJ. So now it's up to, if AJ wants to step aside, then I'm quite sure we could easily make that fight. But will he step aside? I doubt it. Or maybe he will, I don't know. But from our perspective, yeah, we'd love to do that fight. If we can't, and Tyson wants to continue boxing, then he'll have to defend his title. If he doesn't want to continue boxing, then so be it. Whatever he chooses to do, he's the guy getting in the ring. That's up to him. But, he did lay his plan out. If you remember, before the fight, he wanted 5 fights and 5 more fights, which would be 4 now. And then he'll decide what he wants to do. And one of them he talked about was Dillian White. For me, I think he's got to beat Dillian White. But if we've got to do the fight, then the WBC order it. Then it's up to him where he wants to fight him. But before that, Dillian White's got to come through Wallin. He's got that fight to do, and that could definitely be a banana skin for him.
Frank, I was going to say to you, looking at the next challengers, I think Dillian White, just strange, just my own opinion, I think that wouldn't pose too many problems to Tyson, because I think he handles that kind of fight very, very well. The interesting one would be Usyk for me, Frank, because I think Usyk is probably one of the most intelligent boxers I've seen, but I think the physicality that Tyson would have would possibly rule the day.
You know what? You're absolutely right with that, Harry. I mean, first of all, if you look at they've both got similar skills. They're both very, very good fighters. I mean, Usyk was a brilliant cruiserweight, undefeated. Came up, and I think he won the gold medal, didn't he, in London in the Olympics? Mm-hmm. Came up, and we see what he did with AJ. So he's now for me the second guy in the division. Like Tyson's got fast hands, great footwork, really good boxing brain. But as you just said, the size difference will be the difference. I think Tyson will be too big for him, with a much longer reach, and more importantly, he's got a great heart. He ain't going to be fighting him on the back foot. He'll take the fight to him.
Mm. Is there for Fury? Is there actually a hunger at some point to fight AJ again, or has that hunger sort of dwindled a little bit?
Look, he always felt, and I think anybody who watched that fight on Saturday, would agree that he had AJ's number. He's much, he would, for me, beats him in every department. Great chin, bigger heart. Better, his punch is hard as AJ. I don't care what anyone says. You look at those knockdowns with Wilder. And don't worry about would Wilder, by the way, would have AJ beat Wilder? I don't think he would have done on that performance. I see, but does he want the fight still? Look, if it's there, if it was to happen, that's a choice he'd make. I still think it'd be a massive draw because everyone's got an opinion on what happened in the fight. But for me, there's only one winner there. And who knows? Maybe it could go on. If AJ was to step aside and let us get the Usyk fight on, maybe he could fight the winner.
Frank, I'm clearly struggling to find any negatives at all from the weekend from Tyson's and yourselves' point of view. But just looking at the fight and looking back at the fight, is there a little bit of regret that we couldn't get any British fans over there, really?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the atmosphere was amazing. It was like electricity, and it would be with a fight like that. Yeah. Having said that, I would say that Tyson had about 65% of the fans were cheering him on. So yeah, he's built an American support there. But if the Brits had been there, could you imagine what the atmosphere has been like? My God, it would have been something special. And we've done really well on the gate considering the position, with the people not being allowed to travel. But they were sorely missed because, there's, like Bob Arum was saying, he said, there's no fans like you Brits. And he's right about that because the atmosphere that the Brits create is just amazing. Having said that, the place was like, everybody was on the edge of their seat in that fight. Everybody. That's if they weren't standing.
Whoever that fight might be, the next fight for Tyson Fury, how important is it for you that you bring it home and you give the British fans something to actually go and physically see?
Well, I'd love to do that, and we talked about it, but no decisions can be made yet because we don't know where we are. We've got to wait for WBC to resolve their situation and see what happens. But look, it's going to be if it were to be Dillian Whyte, then obviously there's only it makes sense for the fight to be in the UK. So that's where we'd like to go. But we got he's got to get. We keep tempting fate in these fights. We see what happened to AJ. Wallin's not going to come and roll over, that's for sure. He'll give White a problem. There's no doubt about that. So let's see how that pans out, and then we can start making some decisions.
Yeah. Frank, thanks for coming on. I know you're absolutely shattered. Go get some rest.
Thanks, Frank.
I should be so lucky. I'm out to walk the dog now. The dog might even walk me. I don't know. I'm not sure.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday morning 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.